Hello and welcome back to our second webinar on IntegraSpec ICF building system with Ballantine Building Solutions. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of the super advantages that IntegraSpec bring to your project. So today we're going to be looking at some of the advantages like speed of build, energy efficiency, sound, lack of waste, curves and straight lines, and fire protection. So why use IntegraSpec ICF system for your build? Well, one of the great advantages is speed. So we can typically reduce time on site for a home of maybe a couple of weeks. On some of the bigger projects, we can reduce build times by up to 6 weeks, which obviously provides savings for all the preliminaries associated with that additional 6 weeks. One particular speed advantage that I see going forward is for nursing homes. If we can take 6 weeks off a build project on a nursing home, that means that the new owner can occupy those beds 6 weeks early, which is a fantastic advantage for that in that particular instance. One example of speed of build that I was involved in myself was when we travelled over to Bude in Cornwall. It was a small basement, and I arrived on site after flying into Exeter at about midday on the Monday. And I got to meet the two other guys on site who were there, John and John. They were both joiners. And with myself and the two Johns, we successfully built the basement and poured it within 16 hours of working on site, mainly because I was keen to get back home. Another advantage of IntegraSpec ICF is less manual handling, so it's a much safer product on site rather than handling concrete blocks. The panels are very light and easy to work with, and there's no way that it's going to hurt your back by lifting it. One of our main advantages, of course, is the excellent energy efficiency that the IntegraSpec ICF brings to a building. We have a very good testimonial, which we will share with you as well, of some of our existing customers who speak glowingly of the energy efficiency of the building. And it's very important, obviously, that the ICF or IntegraSpec ICF performs as we state. In fact, we would probably say that it'll perform even better than we will state. And that's mainly because of the design of the product, where the insulation has to be continuous, unbroken, with very, very low thermal bridging. So there's a number of elements to the energy efficiency. There's a good quality insulation, which is continuous right around the building, low thermal bridging, high thermal mass. So we have a concrete core, solid concrete core, which is insulated inside and outside. So the concrete core never really changes temperature. So if there's a drop in the air temperature outside, it takes a very long time for that change to affect the inside of the building. It's like I describe it as a shock absorber. So it takes the shock out of any changes in the temperatures from inside to outside. And of course, one of the other main advantages with ICF and IntegraSpec in particular is the air tightness. Air tightness is crucial to energy efficiency. And we achieve the air tightness for the wall structure very easily. By design, the product is airtight, and if we build it, fill it with concrete, job is done as far as airtightness is concerned. Another advantage is sound reduction. Our homeowners tell us that one of the unexpected advantages or benefits of having an ICF home is the sound reduction from outside to inside. So they live in a very quiet environment where it's not outside noise doesn't interfere with their day-to-day lives. And if you're building apartments and semi-detached buildings and you use the ICF for the party wall, it provides great advantages for sound reduction between the dwellings. So one of the great advantages of IntegraSpec ICF system is that it virtually eliminates construction waste. And that's partly due to our design, or it's totally due to our design. This panel is flippable and reversible, which means that we can use it upside down, left and right. There's no difference. And if we have to cut the product down, we can still use even a small piece like this. So there's very little of our product that is waste. So that's a big advantage on a construction site, especially as waste disposal is so expensive nowadays. So again, with our standard panel and some webs, we can build practically anything from. So obviously we can do very good straight lines, and IntegraSpec is one of the better products on the market at achieving a really good straight line and within the tolerances of building. And it provides a lovely flat surface for render on the outside, and again another flat and solid surface for attaching drywall or plasterboard on the inside. In each panel we have an insert which is moulded into the panel every 8 inches. And our insert is the shape. So if you can see the writing on the panel, and that's what's behind that there. So this is where we can screw our plasterboard or fixings to it. So you have a furring strip every 8 inches. So it's easy to find because of the logo. Again, as well as straight lines, we can use this to form curves, from gentle curves right into tight curves. Now, tight curves, we need to cut the panel into individual pieces, but we can still use the same panel to produce complex shapes. It's an ideal product to be used above and below ground. So basements, IntegraSpec is an absolutely fantastic product for building basements. And again, with our spacers, we can increase the thickness of the concrete cavity to suit the structural requirements of a basement. And again, waterproofing is very important in a basement. So we have a number of different ways you can do that. We would prefer to use waterproof concrete, which is integral to the building. You can also use peel and stick membranes on the outside and apply them directly onto the ICF to provide waterproofing. And of course, good drainage is always the best form of defence for providing waterproof structures. So we whether you use the waterproof concrete or a peel and stick membrane, and also add in that extra drainage, that good quality drainage gives you peace of mind that you'll have a really super dry and warm basement. IntegraSpec ICF also provides really good fire protection credentials from both external fires and internal. So internally, with a 1/2 inch or 12.5 millimeter plasterboard applied on the inside, we can achieve a 3-hour fire rating. If we need to go to a 4-hour fire rating, we do have an innovative product where we can install an additional steel channel, and we can achieve a 4-hour fire rating for commercial applications if required. So fire protection from the outside, we have a significant photograph here to show you, which was taken in Los Angeles fires a number of years ago. And it's development of houses into a cul-de-sac. And the houses that you see standing are all ICF houses. And unfortunately, all the other houses are gone. They're burned completely away. So it's an indication of how well they perform for fire protection. And again, we share with you some pictures of hurricane survival as well. So they're a very strong structure that can stand the elements. I know generally in the UK and Ireland we don't have those problems, we're fortunate. I know one thing that we may have in the UK and Ireland that's becoming more and more prevalent is flood damage. And again, buildings built with IntegraSpec ICF perform really well from a remedial point of view, if they do happen to get flooded, the walls are still structurally sound. The plasterboard may need replaced, but apart from that, they're easily dried out and save a lot of additional cost if your building should be flooded. Here's a quick testimonial from one of our very satisfied customers, and he testifies to the energy efficiency, the speed of build, and the comfort in which he lives in nowadays.
So when it came to building a family home, we considered all the options, and we settled on IntegraSpec ICF because we wanted a home that would last, that would be comfortable, one that we would be happy to be in, and efficient to run, and that's what we've been able to achieve with IntegraSpec. This house costs us about £1 per day to run throughout the year, which is pretty phenomenal. That's our hot water, underfloor heating, electricity. That's the only bill we have. We use a renewable ground source heat pump, which is very suitable for IntegraSpec homes, as it requires such little energy to actually heat it up and to keep it at a stable temperature. I think one of the biggest benefits to living in an IntegraSpec house is how stable the temperature is. It doesn't really fluctuate very much. You're not having a cold house and heating it up and being too warm. It just stays steady state, which really is just lovely to live in. It's a lovely place to wake up in the morning and it's not freezing cold. You don't have to think about scheduling the heating or turning it on or turning it off or adjusting it. It just is what it is, and it's comfortable for all members of the family.
Thank you for taking the time once again to tune into our webinar. We're delighted that you joined us, and we'll be delighted to see you in our next episode when we will be talking about the finer design details of IntegraSpec ICF.